and start your engine.
Indianapolis, Indiana is the home of Andretti Green Racing. Founded in 2003, AGR is most noted for their success in the Indy Racing League. Among all 4 teams, AGR's Delora IR7 IndyCar has won 2 Indianapolis 500s, as well as 3 IndyCar Series championships through 2008. AGR's Acura ARX-01 car also has seen some success in recent years in the American Le Mans Series.
Andretti Green has, in a very short period of time, has really gotten quite a record. And you know, at the moment we are the winningest IndyCar team, and which we're very proud of in that short a period of time. We have won 2 Indianapolis 500s. We've won 3 championships, and this is all in 5 or 6 years, whatever, since 2003.
Maintaining their championship status is an ongoing challenge. In order to stay ahead of the competition, AGR engineers work diligently to ensure that each of their IRL race cars leaves the shop with the same design and setup specifications. One solution to accomplish this is to reverse engineer both the IRL sanctioned parts as well as the structural and non-structural fiber carbon components. Once scanned and modeled, these parts are used in wind tunnel testing so AGR engineers can observe the performance, handling, and aerodynamics.
Our biggest need was to improve our wind tunnel model. We currently test with a 50% scale model of this race car, and we wanted to build upon its accuracy and detail. And the best way to do that was to reverse engineer from the full-size parts that we didn't have any CAD data for.
In the past, AGR hired an outside company for the scanning of these parts. However, it became very difficult for AGR engineers to express what measurements were important to them. Another significant problem was the time that it took for the scanning to be quoted, measured, and received back for evaluation.
When we used outside contractors to do a lot of our measurements and scanning, we had difficulties communicating to them sometimes what our actual requirements were. And then there was a time issue to get quotations and actually get the job back. In racing, we need fast response.
It wasn't until AGR observed a personal demonstration of the Faro arm and laser scan arm that they realized how versatile it could be to their entire operation. Tino Belli, technical director for AGR, immediately recognized the advantages of the portable measuring arm.
A lot of racing series worldwide now are getting more control to try and keep the speeds of the cars down. And so accuracy is becoming much, much more important. And the Faro arm allows us to get every component right to the technical limit.
When the Faro arm was demonstrated to us, it became pretty obvious pretty quick that was the route we needed to take. It was going to be very versatile and actually could do more things than we were thinking. It opened our eyes to other areas of our vehicle that needed improving.
With the Faro arm's high degree of precision coupled with the versatility of the laser scan arm, AGR is able to perform more functions than originally anticipated. Not only can all incoming parts be scanned with the laser scan arm, but the entire race car assembly can also be measured using the same Faro arm for proper setup. Suspension, gearboxes, engines and wings used to be measured using traditional tools such as tapes, wires, and levels. Brian Page, AGR's assistant race engineer, quickly discovered that having the portable CMM and the surface scanner together in one device made it the complete measurement solution.
You know, the first thing I would suggest is you got to get a demonstration of it, because it's way more powerful than you think at first. It's pretty easy to say, yeah, I know what something does. It can measure in 3 dimensions, no big deal. But when you actually see it in action and start realizing how versatile it can be, that helps justify the expense. And then once it's in-house and you start using it a little bit, then you start realizing how many more projects you really had for it.
Having the ability to measure and inspect parts, scan models, and verify setups continually saves AGR the expenses from having to pay outside service providers. Beyond the financial impact is the time that engineers are able to gain making improvements on aerodynamic parts to each car. For example, this rear view mirror was modified after scanning it with the Faro laser scan arm. It was determined through wind tunnel testing that the shape and placement of the mirror was affecting the downforce on the rear wing. After careful research, engineers calculated a new design for the mirror as well as the appropriate installation point. Once implemented, each car tested with more positive results, ultimately improving performance on the racetrack.
We found, even though a jig was made by the mechanics to put those mirrors on these cars, the jig just wasn't quite good enough. It was based on some flawed keying that was different on every single car, and so our mirrors ended up wandering. Until we had the Faro arm, we couldn't come in and measure all 8 of our race cars and make sure every one of them had the mirrors in the same spot.
Each year, Andretti Green Racing is in contention for a championship. AGR has improved its performance on all ovals and road courses in the past few years. These improvements were made using the Faro arm and laser scan arm. By increasing the detail on the wind tunnel models and verifying accurate setups, AGR engineers continue to elevate the performance of all their race teams across the board.
If someone is considering a Faro arm, you know, the biggest thing I'd want them to realize was that it's such a versatile tool. It's more than you first imagine when you see it on the website or even hear someone else using it. It's pretty easy to say, yeah, I can measure something. But when you actually get it in your hands for a couple of minutes and start to measure your own parts, you start to realize, 1, how far up your own parts are, and 2, how accurate the arm could be. But then you also start to learn, oh, you know where else I could use this? And when, you just seeing the whole setup of the arm, how long it takes to set up, warm up, and boot up the software, and how quickly you can learn how to use that software to get valuable answers right away.
AGR continues to use the newest technology to stay far ahead of the competition. With Faro's commitment to accuracy, efficiency, and customer support, AGR is equipped to extend their winning tradition for years to come.